You see? Now, this is not discriminatory, but this is important. You will tell God to position people of quality around you. Plant relevant men around me. In life, it's not everything you need you buy. There are relevant men that can say, take this. Someone went with his family, his wife, his children, 7 children, and the wife, they are 9. Went to greet an old school friend. They got to the man's house. They are placed like 2 hours distance. It was getting late. The old school friend now said, good to see you after many years. Now told them to go drop them at home with 2 of his cars. And he gave another car to bring the drivers. 2 cars go drop them, a 3rd car to bring the drivers, to leave the 2 cars. So when they dropped them, the man was like, they said, the man called. He said, you don't want? He said, your family should manage that, the 2 cars, just my little support and some money. The 3rd car was to return the drivers. God just planted a relevant person that effortless. Effortless. The worst thing that can happen to you is to have no man. Because even God said, I sought for him. God can do nothing without men. So to live a life today, even if you think you have everything, you still need somebody who has something. Hey, there is something that you don't have that somebody has. I wish I was praying here with somebody. There's something you need. Solomon gathered himself counselors. Now that's a little bit contradictory, because the Bible said the Lord appeared to Solomon and spoke to Solomon. God spoke to him. And as soon as the Lord departed, he said, and Solomon gathered himself counselor. And I asked myself a question: how will a man who had just heard the voice of God still gather counselors? And God told me, the proof that you hear me is that you can hear men. The proof that you hear God is that you can listen to people. You can't have it all. There are people that God will plant in certain places to be able to help you. And there are 6 kind of helpers. I would talk that this evening. But one I will just talk about now is called compelling helpers. Like Simon of Cyrene. God compelled. They compel. These helpers, God put pressure on them. I will talk about that tonight. Position, plant relevant men around me. When Jesus was born, God sent relevant men with gold, frankincense, myrrh. Relevant men. When you struggle for everything, it means you lack the oil of favor. God has to position people. Before the need comes, the supply is waiting. Are you listening? I need you to understand that life is not as hard as it presents itself. It takes understanding and the revelations of life to soar. Listen. Do you know what it means to be surrounded with so much helpers that when a need comes, you don't even know to ask? One day, the Lord spoke to me to give out my cars. I had 4 cars then. I gave out 3. I left 1 for Mama. I gave out 3. I didn't have a car. So somebody came to visit me and said, and noticed there was no car. He said, where are your cars? I said, I give them out. He said, okay, I'm coming. He went out. About 3-4 hours later, he drove with a new car. I kept quiet. I wasn't bothered because I gave out 3. So what is 1? I was quiet. But that one he gave was heavy. Now, hold on. He was leaving. I drove that car with him. Saw him off, showed him the way. While I was coming back, I went down and I greeted somebody who was like a daughter to me. And she was like, Papa, how are you? Daddy. Which kind of car be this one? I said, the Lord just brought it to her. I gave her my cars. He said, and you entered this one? He said, yes, okay. That evening, she and her husband brought a car. The husband said, Daddy, we feel embarrassed. You would have allowed us to do this thing first now. My wife told me somebody else brought a car. You should have allowed us. I say, I'm sorry, I didn't announce it. I just gave her my car. But the next morning, his friend brought a car. There was so much cars in our compound. We were parking car by the fence. 6 by the fence. I had to stand on the altar and say, I don't want car again. Anything you want to give me, give to people. I'm tired. Compound. Sometimes I'll just wake up in the morning. I'll enter this one. Vroom, vroom, vroom. I'll enter that one. Vroom, vroom. I said, what kind of stupid assignment is this one? How do people survive? You enter the one, I'll go outside the compound. Vroom, 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 vroom. I'll warm. I'll off the car. Come here. Vroom. I said, no. I just carried 3 to church. I said, you take. I want to live long. You take. Am I communicating here? Why? Because I gave what I had. So God planted relevant people around me. There are so many of us. If you need help now, there is nobody to call. Nobody to talk to. Are you ready to pray? Are you ready to pray? Say in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
You are not saying that word. In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
As I begin to pray, Lord arise. Position relevant men around me.
Position relevant men.
Position relevant men around me. Position relevant men around me. Position relevant men around me. Open your mouth and fire prayer. Position. Oh Lord, your Rapila Tasa.